Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Hard West. In the previous episode, we gathered the funds we needed for the poker tournament, but, well, something happened. As you can see, we no longer have those funds, and the ships are unexplored. Reason being is that the guide, as one of the last things it recommends before heading off to the tournament, is to head for the Fate Trader. However, it appears as though once you have the funds to enter the tournament, the Fate Trader, for whatever reason, becomes unavailable to you. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's a glitch. I don't know if it was by design, but that's how it is for me. I actually reviewed the footage to see, yes, it did become available once we had gotten over 25 grand. I even tested it to see if it was a glitch, and no, it wasn't. So I kind of had to go through this scenario repeatedly. One, because, well, to test that, and two, because I tried using a trainer to try and speed up the tactical parts of the missions, which were the ones that took up the entire time. And, well, there was a glitch that even if I didn't use the infinite HP, for whatever reason, when I got to the second tactical mission, it would set all my characters to 20 HP, which was unfair. So if you're using the Mr. Anti-Fun Trainer for this, and you don't want that 20 HP thing, then you're going to want to deactivate every cheat before you end a mission. Deactivate every cheat, deactivate the trainer, close the program. That's what I had to do. So, I'm going to very quickly show you what we get at the Fate Trader, and then I'm going to skip ahead to when we basically got kicked out of the gambling den, which was the last thing we did. I will see you guys then. Yeah, so besides this Fate Trader visit, nothing else is going to change. Team found the Lone Drifter's encampment. After a short conversation, he revealed that he dealt in unique trinkets, collected from all over the land. From him, we are going to want to buy a Cannon Calavera, a Holy Musket, and a Candle of the Dead. Now that we have bought that, I will see you guys once we get back to where we were previously. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show you that, yeah, it does become unavailable. Let's see, Cassandra. So Gargoyles anyways. Curse Rock. Okay, so these really are randomized, huh? Strange. Let's see. Louis, yeah. Numbleg. Paco also got Numbleg, so we're not getting that extra 1,000 cash. Oh well. Alright, yeah, we're gonna get all the treasure in here.
Now that Cassandra had the necessary 25,000 pesos, she was ready to conquer La Fortuna's grand tournament.
And as you can see, for whatever reason, now that we have the money, the Fate Trader is no longer available to us. So yes, after you sell off the Calacas, but before you get the cash from the treasure boats, go to the Fate Trader, buy those 3 objects. Don't know how I didn't notice it before, but that's how it is. Okay, now I will see you guys back to where we once were. Okay then, we are now back to where we once were, just got kicked out of the gambling den. And again, this is where the guide tells you to go for the Fate Trader, but again, it's not available at this point. So, there are a couple of more things we need to do before heading out. First things first, we are going to head to the hospital and get everybody healed. Then, we're going to want to ask if they had any medical supplies. The Mother Superior explained that the only medication she had in large supply was a powerful laxative potion. She handed over a tall, dark green bottle with a label that promised its contents induced instant intestinal alarcity. However the hell you pronounce it. You're going to want to purchase this bottle. Now then, according to the guide that I'm reading, which has had some mistakes, there is a glitch where if we don't complete all of the actions described below, that the next chain of events will bug out. And I really don't want that to happen because I don't want to have to go through this again. So, with nothing else, let's head for the reception hall. Cassandra and her companions arrived at the building where the poker soiree was to be held. The imposing building was made entirely out of cast iron and glass, a feat unparalleled in Mexico. They had some time to kill before the game started. Cassandra wandered the floor and sized up the other players while she waited for the tournament to begin. The room was filled with players from all corners of the land, tense with anticipation of the conflict to come. Finally, the cashier booth opened, and players began to fork over the cash necessary to register. There was still time for Cassandra to mingle with the guests. Okay. First thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to mingle with the crowd and perform these 3 actions. The soiree was the first and foremost a social pageant, where the rich and the famous could show off their opulence to their peers and rub their success in the faces of their competitors. Though everyone appeared friendly on the surface, the competition tension in the hall was palpable. Okay, first thing that we're gonna want to do, we're gonna want to eavesdrop on an argument between one of the contestants and a lady. A corpulent, sweaty man in a tall hat was arguing with his wife. She said he would again lose their fortune, all the while he assured her that he had been working on his gambling skills. This seemed to enrage her further, and she launched into a tally of his various tells, while he denied it all. It seemed Cassandra now knew what to look for. Then, we're going to want to pour laxative inside one of the contestants' drinks and talking to a stranger. First things first, one of the competitors left his drink unattended while he showed off his new pocket watch. Cassandra thought back to the bottle of laxative she had obtained earlier. While crude and unfair, it would most certainly eliminate a player from the game before it had even started. Cassandra swiftly poured the contents of the bottle into the man's drink. The gentleman returned to his drink, downing it in a single swallow. His smile lasted a while, but ultimately faded into a terrified grimace. He excused himself and rushed away at a sprint. Cassandra smiled imperceptibly. Then we're going to want to talk before heading on. Cassandra caught a glimpse of a middle-aged gentleman gazing at her with a cryptic smile. She returned the man's gaze and smiled back. A few minutes later, the man approached her, presenting himself as Jim Vaughn. He commended her on her competitive attitude, alluding to her underhanded activities in the reception room. Seeing her frown, he laughed and assured her he would not expose her. He said Cassandra reminded him of his younger self. He was looking forward to testing his skill against hers in the upcoming game. Cassandra thanked him with an expression of genuine camaraderie. Cassandra returned enjoying the evening, taking note of everything and everyone she saw. Cassandra submitted her fee, $25,000, and waited for the game to start. Cassandra has just submitted her 25,000 pesos when a slender Hispanic man in an impeccable tailcoat and top hat approached her with a grin. Cassandra guessed this must be Ricardo La Fortuna. As if reading her mind, he bowed and placed a gallant kiss on her gloved hand. La Fortuna presented himself and asked for Cassandra's name. She treated him to her Russian alias, Lydia Morozov. La Fortuna bowed lower still and wished Lydia good luck in the upcoming game. She curtsied before proceeding to the gaming table. The first round of the game had 20 contestants, divided among 4 tables. Among them was Jim Vaughn. Cassandra realized her table only had 4 players. One must have been missing. She also noted that she'd been placed with the corpulent man whom she had been seen arguing with his wife earlier. She was seated and the rules were explained. The 2 winners from each table would meet for the second round, which would determine the grand champion of the gala, and the owner of a rare piece of jewelry being stacked by Mr. La Fortuna himself. Chips were distributed, the cards were dealt, and the game started. Initially, the game was casual and easy. Cassandra singled out 2 candidates for elimination and deftly defeated them using her acute gambling skills. Only one man was left at her table, and she knew his tells, having overheard his argument with his wife. She read him like an open book. Soon, he was dispatched as well. The croupier congratulated Cassandra, telling her he'd transfer her chips to the main table for the final round. There was an hour break between rounds 1 and 2. The tournament was in full swing. Losing tears were dried by cheerful senoritas and gallons of alcohol, while the winners gloated, prayed, and luxuriated in the lobby. Cassandra looked around, sizing up her competition. Okay then, at this point, we're going to want to follow a man to his room, and then increase his drug dose to take him out. We don't need to do that in order to win the tournament, but I'm going to do it anyways. As they left the party atmosphere of the crowd, the gambler accelerated his pace, crossing the steel and glass corridors of the palace with unusual haste. Then, when he entered his hotel wing, he disappeared. Cassandra looked helplessly around the halls of the hotel. There were 2 rows of identical doors, one on each wall of the hall. One she noticed had light sifting from underneath it. As she approached it, she saw it had been left slightly ajar. She peered through the opening and, to her surprise, saw the man injecting himself with something from a syringe. Morphine. The gambler lay on the bed, oblivious to everything around him. He was in the full rapture of the morphine shot. Cassandra slipped inside his room and gave him another injection of an even stronger dose. Cassandra hesitated, wondering if her lack of experience administering drugs might spell this man's demise. I've come this far, she thought, emptying the syringe. He certainly didn't protest. Rather, he closed his eyes and fell asleep with a blissful smile on his face. Cassandra left a gentle kiss on his sweaty forehead and left the room. Cassandra returned and enjoyed the evening, all the while looking around carefully. Once the break was over, Cassandra proceeded to the table. The players sat down to the final round of La Fortuna's poker competition. Along with Cassandra, 3 other men were still in the competition. One defaulted when he failed to arrive at the designated hour. The others were Jim Vaughn and Dr. Fabian Fay, both of whom she'd met in the Pueblo Casino. Names were exchanged, cards were dealt, the game began. The stakes in the final game were much higher, and so was the skill of the participants. But as the game progressed, Cassandra's chip supply diminished until she was on the brink of bankruptcy. She needed a decisive move to improve her situation. She could target Dr. Fabian Fay, whose stash was the smallest, or Jim Vaughn, who had been doing extremely well thus far. At this point, his skill seemed unmatched. Okay, Rossetti is actually the guy we're going to go after. If you didn't increase the morphine dose, then you're going to want to attack him first and then bluff to defeat him. Now we're going to want to dispatch Faye using the knowledge we acquired at the gambling den. Knowing his tells from the Pueblo Casino, she decided to attack Dr. Fay. Dr. Fabian Fay never fully held his cards. He lifted them slightly off the table and peeked at them. Every so often he would pick his fine mustache, but Cassandra quickly determined this was not a tell. Although the doctor kept his composure throughout the evening, Cassandra knew what she was looking for. If he held his breath, he was bluffing. Do not use your precog, we're going to need to save that. From their earlier game in the Pueblo Casino, she knew just when to call and when to bluff. Before long, the doctor had no more chips left on the table. He stood up, bowed, complimented each of the players, and thanked them for this worthy entertainment. Then he strode off to the lobby to relax. To win the tournament, Cassandra still had one more opponent to defeat. Let's go after Jim Vaughn. Jim Vaughn was a true master of the gambling table, smart, funny, and courteous. He was impenetrable to the conventional scrutiny. If Cassandra wanted to defeat him, she would need to use her unique ability. Cassandra took a deep breath and tried something new. Smile and see the future at the same time. Letting her instincts guide her card and her chips, Cassandra managed to outplay and defeat Jim Vaughn. He looked at her with admiration, then laughed out loud and thanked her for an amazing game. Cassandra vanquished her final opponent. She had won the tournament. Ricardo La Fortuna presented Cassandra with the grand prize, a beautiful piece of jewelry that was rumored to be a lucky charm. Cassandra accepted the prize with grace and humility. La Fortuna told Cassandra she was welcome to visit him in his residence any time. Cassandra promised she would come, then departed into the crowd. As Cassandra made to leave, Jim Vaughn approached her and offered to buy her a glass of port. Accept his invitation. Mr. Vaughn was visibly delighted. He ordered drinks as he told Cassandra about his younger years with a refreshing bluntness. Vaughn had run away from home at a young age and wandered the West, finding no shortage of trouble and becoming an infamous gambler and duelist. One fateful day, however, he played against a powerful man, taking a fortune from him. The man was furious, telling Vaughn to leave the country and renounce gambling on pain of death. That's when Vaughn headed to Mexico. He had been miserable ever since, but when he'd heard about the tournament, he decided he didn't care anymore. It was worth the risk to play again. What else was life for? Cassandra asked what all that had to do with her. He looked at her wistfully. He told her that he saw his younger self in Cassandra. She had inspired him to take his guns off the hook and go looking for trouble again. If there was one person he would love to ride with, it was her. Now then, you can only have 4 people, and according to the guide, we're going to want to replace Felicia with him. Cassandra accepted Vaughn's offer. To keep their numbers low, she asked Felicia to stay behind. Now then, let's see. Oh, right, that tournament trophy we won is a trinket. It is the second of the trinkets that we can get. This beautiful piece of jewelry is Cassandra's lucky charm. Regenerates luck in combat. Very handy, it seems. Now then. The Fate Trader is now available again, and they will have restocked. So, we're going to want to head to them. And we're going to want to buy, once again, the Canon Calavera, the Holy Musket, and a Candle of the Dead. Now, I will note the next one does state that we would have a Mammoth Rifle. I'm just going to check everybody's... Yep, he already has a Mammoth Rifle. Great. That means we don't have to worry about buying one. Let's see. After that, we're going to want to head for the La Fortuna residence. Cassandra strolled over to Mr. La Fortuna's home. In contrast with the reception hall, the hacienda was quite modest. Cassandra and her companions were greeted politely by Mr. La Fortuna, who offered refreshments and small presents as a token of his appreciation. He and Cassandra had an amicable chat discussing politics, art, and fashion, as well as Mr. La Fortuna's various undertakings. Cassandra was curious about his competition with the Protector. La Fortuna's expression became cautious as he explained that his relationship with the Protector had deteriorated over the past few months. He had finally resolved to help the Mexican Navy chase this undesirable man from their country. Cassandra suggested she could help, if La Fortuna were interested. He asked what she had in mind. Cassandra said she had a talent for eliminating inconvenient characters from the earth. Lying brazenly, she revealed she was a successful contract assassin with many hits on her resume. If Mr. La Fortuna was taken aback by this news, he did not show it. He merely smiled and responded that Cassandra's help wouldn't be required. He had a train loaded with mercenaries that was heading towards the coast at that very moment. They would seize the island within hours. Cassandra nodded and wished him a swift victory.
La Fortuna's mercenary force had to be prevented from reaching the bay. Arden suggested they blow up the train. Cassandra concurred. They just needed to procure the explosives.
A convenient mining site has arrived. Yes, we're going to want to head here. Coal mine operated day and night. With the constant excavation, dynamite was in frequent use and ample supply. Hardin suggested he steal some. Cassandra felt she might be able to persuade the miners to give her some. Cassandra decided to try to convince the foreman to give her some dynamite. Cassandra approached the foreman and pretended to be an inspection officer sent by the mining company. She would need to inspect a sample of their dynamite. The foreman was suspicious and demanded proof. This is where the Army requisition form comes into play. The foreman pored over the document suspiciously. Finally, he nodded his head and handed over the specified amount of explosives. Cassandra was triumphant. Now that we have that, we're going to want to head for the train yard and choose to fortify the area before the train arrives. We only got 10 minutes left, but I get the feeling that we can take care of this mission. They planted the dynamite and waited for the train. The charge would be just enough to derail the train without causing further damage. There was still some time left. Planting more dynamite would cause more damage, but might destroy any valuables carried on the train. Fortifying the area would give them an advantage, but would cut off some escape routes. Fortify the area. The train yard had been fortified. It gave typo, the party better positions and more cover. Suddenly, they heard the train's whistle from beyond the bend. Okay then, for Cassandra, we want to give her the Cannon Calavera, the musket, and the Candle of the Dead. We're not giving her a holy musket, just a regular one. For Hardin, we are going to want to give him a Cannon Calavera, a holy musket, and the tournament trophy. For Paco, we want to give Candle of the Dead, a Cannon Calavera, and a holy musket. As for Jim Vaughn, he is going to be keeping his mammoth musket, or mammoth rifle, and he is instead going to be taking the sawed-off Cobra. No trinket for him, unfortunately. As for cards, we did gather up a lot of cards. I could potentially make some full houses with these. Let's see, who needs what? Let's see, 55, 60, 55, 60. Unfortunately, I can't make a full house with Jim Vaughn. So in terms of aim, I think I'll give the aim cards to Hardin. And what can I give him 2 of? Let's see. Well, I got 2 available of movement. Could also go for sight. Or HP. Let's see. HP, I'm probably going to end up giving to Cassandra, just because she has the lowest out of all of them. And let's see. He has the second worst movement, but I think I'll give him sight. So, Beast, Hearing, and why not a Barrage? I think I'll give Terror to Jim Vaughn. Let's see. You already have some movement, so ooh. I also need to give 2 of something to Sandra. Ugh. No, I need to give her 3 of the same. I don't think that's going to work out. Oh well. Let's see. 120, 125, 130, 100. I'll give him the extra luck. And defense. Everybody's defense is pretty bad. But I think I'll give it to Jim Vaughn just because he has lowest health after Cassandra and she already has 25 defense. Alright, I think I've done what I can. So, let's get this mission started. Probably gonna go over the time limit, but so be it. Oh, by the way, something I forgot to mention. In the initial mission, you can still steal from the other cash registers, and they will give you valuables. So, something I still recommend doing. If La Fortuna's mercenaries were allowed to reach the coast, there would be no way to reach the Protector.
Survivors crawled from the ruins of the train wreck. The team readied their weapons with killing intent.
Alright. Alright, we got a level 8 guy, or 8 health guy over here. Now, but he's around the corner and behind cover. So I can't take him out. At least not easily. I can't get Cassandra into a position where she'd be able to flank this guy. What about Hardin? Maybe right here? That seems like it would be a flank position. Or I just ricocheted it. What's blocking him here? Ah, that. Let's see if moving him here behind high cover will still allow him to hit this. Yes. Okay, that's one mercenary down. Okay, Jim Vaughn. I'd like to put you behind high cover. 29, 0. Ooh. I think I'll just leave you there and try and make use of your... scoped shot. 44. 54 with the Cannon Calavera. It's only going to do half damage to him. So be it. It'll at least drain his luck. Paco, take out that mercenary, if you please. And Jim, probably we're gonna have to leave you as is. Okay, there's another mercenary. And another one. Uh-oh, he's trying to come around the back. Sandra, switch over to your musket. 72% chance. I'll take it. Good. Hardin. Only 69% chance to hit that one. Alright, reload. See if I can't go for a ricochet shot on this guy. 80% chance, but I'll take the shot. Oh! That's unlucky and unfortunate. Alright, Jim. It's only 6 damage. That's only 3 because of the half cover. Dang. Paco, go for this guy. You know what? Most damage is better than no damage. Oof. There's Paco, but he's got plenty of health to work with. Uh-oh. Ooh. Well, that may have just left him exposed to, well, die by my hand. Only 72% chance, but I gotta take it. Guy's too big of a threat to be left down there. Hardin. You got that guy over there. Take the shot on him with your Cannon Calavera. Paco, you take shots on these guys. 64% chance. I'll take it. Really? This guy didn't come up. Well, I know for a fact he's a mercenary. So I don't really have a chance of hitting him. Or killing him in one shot. Well, while also reloading. Hardin, you get over here. Finish this guy off. Paco, let's see if we can't at least get started on this guy. No, let's go for some... Ah, right. I need 2 action points for that. And I got no ammo for this. Oh, well, no matter. Sandra, you fall back. Ah, your holy musket isn't reloaded. But I can get over here and try for a ricochet shot. If it doesn't kill him, it'll at least drain his luck. Which is what we want. Paco, you get over here, blow him away with your holy musket.
Cassandra looked relieved when the last mercenary was finally dispatched.
Well, that one was easy. Let's see, should get 2 cards, 400 gold, an Eagle Elixir, and a Vitality Elixir. Cassandra's gift was as much boon... Oh, no, that's just the standard one. Okay, then. Well, with that, we have come to an end for this episode of Hard West. If you guys like what you see, please leave a like, subscribe for future content. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notifications for when I upload, or to hit the straw poll link to vote for our next Let's Play, which I'm trying to load it up right now as I'm doing this, but I'm pretty sure it's still just at 7 votes. Yep. Same as it was last week. 7 votes, 5 for A Hat in Time, 1 for Prey 2017, and 1 for Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. And please, leave a comment down below this video. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.